Roddy Nation TV, welcome back to the channel. Do me a favor before we even get started. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel. For all the people who've already subscribed to the channel, I just want to say thank you once again. Let's get it. Okay, we're getting back into the story of Suge Knight's Death Row Homeboy Security, which really was 3 different sets of Piru Bloods, right? Some of his neighborhood friends that he grew up with. Right Away Security, Reggie Wright is a former police officer, so he also was working for Suge Knight. Him and a lot of police officers under Right Away Security. So he had 2 different types of security: Homeboy Security and Right Away Security. And we're going to get into the story of the Homeboy Security, which was made up of 3 different sets of Piru Bloods. Now, in my first video, I told you about the first person to fall in the dominoes of this beef that we really didn't even know about, which started back in like 1995 with this guy named George Ponytail Williams. Some people just called him G. Now, he was fired by Suge Knight. He was fired by Suge Knight because the police had came to Suge Knight and told him that there was a rumor that one of his bodyguards was going to kidnap him and hold him for ransom. Well, anyway, this guy George Ponytail Williams, him and Suge Knight, they got into it, and some of Suge Knight's goons, you know, they had a shootout with him, and I believe they shot this brother. And ever since then, he had a vendetta. You know, he wanted to get some get back against Suge Knight, and that's how this all started. The feud between the 3 different sets of Pirus that Suge Knight had working for him, Homeboy Security. Now, in my first video, I told you the first one to fall was Aaron Heron Palmer. Now, if you can go back and check out that video, you can. I'm not going to get all the way back into that. You know, I got a video on the first person. Now, we're on the second person who fell, and that's William Chin Walker. Now, he was gunned down on April 3rd, 2000. And now he was killed by a Fruiton Piru guy whose name was Jerome Snake Jordan, right? Now, he was killed, you know, by this guy. So, but this guy, Jerome Snake Jordan, had allied himself with the other brother I was telling you about, George Ponytail Williams, you know, who used to work for Suge. Now, this picture that you got up here, he's the guy that's holding up the blood sign in the back of this picture, right? Up against the wall. If you see him, see that sign that he's holding up there with the blood? That's George Monkey Man Williams. I really couldn't find a lot of pictures of this guy, so I wanted, you know, you people to know who he is. That's him holding up the blood sign behind everybody, you know, behind everybody else in that picture right there. That's George Williams. That's the guy who's gunning and hunting down Suge Knight and the rest of his Homeboy Security after the fallout that they have. Now, the second person that I said to die in that fallout was William Chin Walker. You know, now Wardell Poochie Foss and William Chin Walker were sitting in a van on a dead-end street in Compton just after midnight. Now, this was in April 4th, 2000. You know, 2 men rushed up, opened fire, and fled. Walker, 37, died an hour later. Foss, 40, was severely injured. Now, I'm going to give you guys a tidbit on the guy Wardell Poochie Foss. A lot of people say he's the one who's responsible for Biggie Smalls' murder. A lot of people, we're going to do a video about that, but I just want to give you a little tidbit, let you know that the guy that was sitting in the car with William Chin Walker on April 4th, 2000 was the guy who a lot of people say is responsible for Biggie Smalls' murder, and said that it was a contract killing that was put out by Suge Knight. I just want to let you guys know that. So, like I said before, Karma is a mug, right? Karma ain't just a female's name. You know, Death Row, one of the most prolific labels in rap history, really. You know what I'm saying? Back in the 90s, you know, Death Row, if Death Row would still have been around now, today, you know, you got Cash Money Records, you got, you know, as far as black on, we're talking black on, right? Cash Money Records, you got P. Diddy, Bad Boy, you know what I'm saying? Those were the big ones. You had No Limit, you know what I'm saying? P, you know, Master P. But you know, out of all those record labels, I'm gonna tell you, um, Death Row was the man. I'm telling you, at the height, Death Row was the shit. I'm telling you, they was pumping out hits, and then when Pac came, I'm telling you, man, it was on. I mean, if for my younger generation, if you wasn't around and you didn't live in that era during that time, man, oh man, it was on. Death Row was really putting out the hits, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, behind the scenes, there was a lot of things that we didn't know about that was going on, and such as the story that I'm telling you about, the feud between these Bloods. You know what I'm saying? In my day coming up, Bloods never fought each other, they never killed each other, but it's a new day, right? I mean, but back then they said, even after, and they said it really, really got bad between these people after Buntry died. Buntry was the guy that was in the video when on the night that Tupac was killed. He was the one in the white suit that you seen kicking Orlando Anderson. Now they said that he was an enforcer after Jake Robles. Now remember, Jake Robles, a lot of people might say Jake Robles was the first person to die. But we're talking about in the inner circle. We're talking about blood on blood violence. We're not talking about Jake Robles was killed by Anthony Wolf Jones at Jermaine Dupri's birthday party, and that happened back in 1995. And that's what gave you the deep hatred that Suge Knight had for Sean Puffy Combs and the Bad Boy label. And so when he went and got Tupac out of jail, and Tupac had this hate towards Biggie because he thought that Biggie stole his style and all this other stuff. So those two together, that just amplified the hatred that they had for the Bad Boy label, and such, and as as history tells, you see what happened, right? So like I said, William Chin Walker, he was I believe he was like 37 years old, and April 4th of 2000. He was struck down in a hail of bullets while he was sitting in a van in Compton. I couldn't get a lot of information on this brother. That's the picture that you see right here. This brother William Chin Walker, and God rest this brother's soul. We don't condone the violence here, the black on black crime. It's just at an all-time high right now. That's why I'm just bringing you these stories from the past. You know what I'm saying? I thought this was a very interesting story about what happened behind the scenes with the Death Row camp, and I just think maybe a lot of people didn't know what was going on, because I certainly didn't. And Mob James has a documentary out. He's the brother of Buntry McDonald, and Mob James McDonald. He has a documentary out about it, and you guys might want to check that out. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, but like I said before, I just wanted to bring this little story to you guys. And the next person that we're gonna get into that lost his life in this saga is going to be, I think it's Lil Dave, David Brim Dudley. He's the next person we're going to get into that, that behind the scenes that lost his life. I mean, this is terrible, man. He was pumped with 16 bullets. We're going to get into that on the next story. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into David Brim Dave Dudley. So that right now you see the Brim, so he was from the Brims. I'm not sure what set of Brims he was from, but I'm gonna try to find that out when we bring that up. So Rowdy Nation TV, click that like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, give me a like. Give me just a like just for the effort. Even if you don't like the video, like it, hate it, share the video. Rowdy Nation TV, we out.